Dude looks like he was born on steroids.
Yeah,
man.
there are some freaks, man.
Yeah.
There's some legit genetic freaks. To deny that would be crazy. There's some people that just like short acting stuff. That's
like a test propionate or something, like the water-based.
Yeah. Like, weren't they doing that in baseball? They were taking like testosterone gummies. And the idea is that they metabolize so quickly that you get the effect of them, but then they're out of your system by the time you do. Fuck it.
Right.
Beat everybody.
Right.
That's the mentality.
That's the mentality.
Savages.
Anybody who's going to do that, that
that shit turns your blood to paint.
And I think I guess that's probably the discipline, right, of how people were always getting away with things beforehand, right, is to try to maybe try to do it in a way where they won't get caught. But I think that's like, if this much is good, then
Joe Rogan doesn't hold back. He needs to be drug tested. His body is changing too fast. It's suspicious. Rogan calls out Jake Paul, warning the boxing world that fairness and integrity can't be compromised.
Test back then for steroids. That's all they did. Yeah, you're good. Everybody passed.
Next up, we see Jake Paul hitting the gym like a monster, and the experts aren't impressed. Jake Paul's training footage is jaw-dropping. Legs like tree trunks. I say, look at him. This isn't normal progress. Even Joe Rogan insists a drug test is necessary. His size and power are raising serious eyebrows. Now things get even more serious as Joe Rogan openly bets Jake Paul is on steroids. Joe Rogan doesn't mince words. He's calling it as he sees it. With Jake Paul's body expanding unnaturally fast, Rogan confidently bets that steroids are involved. Fans are now questioning the legitimacy of Paul's rise compared to elite fighters like Usyk. Joe Rogan doesn't mince words. He's calling it as he sees it. With Jake Paul's body expanding unnaturally fast, Rogan confidently bets that steroids are involved. Fans are now questioning the legitimacy of Paul's rise compared to elite fighters like Usyk.
Powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
This concern escalates when Stephen A. Smith highlights how power alone doesn't make a fair fight. Shakur Stevenson's analysis is brutal, but fair. Jake Paul lacks the technical skill to compete with genuine pros like Tank Davis or Usyk. Despite hype and massive social media attention, any seasoned fighter would easily expose him. Fans are seeing the gap between showmanship and real boxing talent.
So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Johnny Nelson adds fuel to the fire, calling for an official inquiry into Jake Paul's rapid rise. Johnny Nelson is demanding accountability. The calls for an inquiry aren't just noise, they're serious concerns about fairness, drugs, and integrity. Fans and pundits alike are questioning if Jake Paul's rapid body changes are natural or engineered, something Usyk has never had to rely on.
There is going to be, there needs to be an inquiry straight after this, why, what. But that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you. I'm quite sure when this goes out, it'll be all over the place anyway. But all I can say is,
Eubank Jr. cuts straight to the point. The business side of boxing is ruthless. A failed drugs test not only tarnishes reputations, but also costs fighters lucrative opportunities. Unlike Jake Paul, Usyk's success comes purely from skill, discipline, and hard work inside the ring.
When you fail a drugs test, you don't get 50-50 split.
No. No matter commercial power pulling, no.
You don't get 50-50 split if you fail a drugs test.
Jake Paul's transformation is impressive on screen. He even looks like Mike Tyson in his prime, but looks can be deceiving. Size and intimidation don't replace skill. Usyk's mastery of technique and timing highlights that Jake Paul's hype might crumble the second he faces a true champion.
8-3, Mikey, your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. Whoop.
Duke McKenzie doesn't hold back, and rightly so. Giving back a license after multiple positive tests is a huge red flag. It signals a lack of accountability. Jake Paul may have fans on social media, but in the eyes of true boxing professionals, this is career-damaging behavior. Usyk's disciplined, drug-free approach contrasts sharply with Paul, highlighting the gap between hype and genuine skill. It's a reminder that real champions don't cut corners, and the sport demands integrity above all.
He's done. Now, the fact that he's given back his licence to the British Boxing Board of Control, who in my opinion are the best governing body in the world, bar none, it's kind of like a proof of admission, certainly. And for him to do what he's done, you know, they're talking about contamination, right? So if you've done it once, then you got caught out, then you do it again. It can't be contamination, can it? Because he'd been caught twice for doing the same thing. So if it was me, take his licence away.
Tony Bellew builds on this, analyzing the real cost of inactivity for someone like Paul. Chris Eubank Jr. is highlighting the stark difference between serious fighters and social media sensations. A legitimate pro knows the stakes, respects opportunities, and fights to prove themselves. Jake Paul's controversies and dodging of challenges make him appear more like an entertainer than a competitor. Usyk, in contrast, takes every fight seriously, rising to the occasion and respecting the craft. The fans may tune in for Paul's antics, but boxing purists will always side with skill, discipline, and integrity over hype.
There's no message. The offer's been sent, and you know, you either take it or leave it. And if you leave it, then I'm going to be great either way.
Is it done forever if this is a no this time?
I'm not going to say that. You know, the fight's never done forever. As long as we're still breathing, and the fight is going to be of interest to us and to the public.
Chris Eubank Jr. is highlighting the stark difference between serious fighters and social media sensations. A legitimate pro knows the stakes, respects opportunities, and fights to prove themselves. Jake Paul's controversies and dodging of challenges make him appear more like an entertainer than a competitor. Usyk, in contrast, takes every fight seriously, rising to the occasion and respecting the craft. The fans may tune in for Paul's antics, but boxing purists will always side with skill, discipline, and integrity over hype.
Well, Ring Magazine have actually released it, so that's pretty strong evidence that this fight is going to happen. Yeah, so I think the negotiations with Anthony Joshua have broken down, and I think that was down to broadcasting rights. Who would get that with Anthony Joshua being on DAZN? Obviously, Jake Paul is on Netflix, and that's probably where the problem was. So I think that fight is sort of like dead and buried in the water. And we get Gervonta Davis, man.
Chris Eubank Jr. is highlighting the stark difference between serious fighters and social media sensations. A legitimate pro knows the stakes, respects opportunities, and fights to prove themselves. Jake Paul's controversies and dodging of challenges make him appear more like an entertainer than a competitor. Usyk, in contrast, takes every fight seriously, rising to the occasion and respecting the craft. The fans may tune in for Paul's antics, but boxing purists will always side with skill, discipline, and integrity over hype.
Of course, it does add to it, and people will tune in to see Jake Paul get sparked. But, you know, we just hope I don't want him to get seriously hurt, and that's my real worry, my real fear for the man, is that he gets seriously hurt.
Everything comes down to this: the fight, the hype, the drama. But when you strip it all away, it's about skill, discipline, and legacy. Jake Paul may have a massive following, social media clout, and flashy training videos, but none of that compares to a seasoned champion like Alexander Usyk, who has proven time and again he belongs at the pinnacle of boxing. Paul's repeated drug controversies, license issues, and dodged challenges paint a worrying picture of a fighter who relies more on spectacle than substance, while Usyk continues to dominate with precision, strategy, and respect for the sport. Mentally, there's no contest. Usyk's focus, experience, and ring IQ make him far more dangerous than Paul could ever anticipate. If Paul steps in without accountability, it could end badly for him. Yet the curiosity factor keeps fans glued, but real boxing fans know who the true competitor is. Usyk wants it more, respects the craft, and will always rise to the occasion. The stakes are huge: pride, reputation, and the clear divide between hype and real boxing talent. So what do you think? Can Jake Paul shock the world, or is this Usyk's domain to dominate? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't just watch, join the debate now.